I said, you know, I have my story. And last year, those of you that were here, you heard the story of a young woman who persevered through multiple surgeries, multiple attempts at trying to get in remission, and ultimately ended up with having a colostomy bag, and she is finally in a great place. And this year I said, you know, I want to tell the story of someone who doesn't look like me and who doesn't have Haley's experiences and who someone has a different experience. And Kevin has a tremendous experience as a young man, an adolescent, and now college age man who has been fighting this disease as well. So I would like to put our hands together and welcome Kevin Hahn.
Everybody, I'm Kevin Hahn. First of all, I just want to start this off by saying thank you to Allison for just hosting this event and creating so much fun and awareness just about what lifestyle shake does, such a really unknown disease. So thank you for that. I had some pictures. I'm not sure quite what they were. Okay, so like I said, I'm Kevin Hahn. I have colitis. My experience with colitis started, as you can see right here. I was 12 years old, 6th grade. I began, normal symptoms, stomach pain, some extreme pooping, some weight loss, all of the above for me. And my care kind of started, it didn't start at UCSF, but it started somewhere else where I had some first colonoscopy and endoscopy type stuff. But on a friend's referral to UCSF gastroenterology and Dr. Mel himself, me, my mom and dad, who were over there, Don Hahn, she helped with everything, set up an appointment with Dr. Mel. And the first appointment, I'll never forget, it went about 2 hours long. And we talked about, adult stuff like insurance and things of that nature and what it was going to take to be able to come to UCSF, as well as Dr. Mel just talking to me, about my symptoms and what I was facing and really who I was as a 12-year-old kid, what I liked to do, what were my interests. And that was something that, has always stuck with me. I felt like, he really did try to connect with me, and that's why I'm still under his care today at 22, which, 25 is the limit. I'm trying to milk it as long as I can. So after a few colonoscopies and endoscopies from Dr. Mel, I was diagnosed with colitis. And in the early stages, I would say, of my battle, it was more of, an unknown. I didn't really know what was happening to me. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I couldn't even pronounce what I had at 12 years old. Like, how am I supposed to understand what it's going to do to me? And so one of the ways that I think helped me with that was this camp that Dr. Mel started, known as Camp Gutbusters. And this is a picture of my first year there, outside currently the Med Shed, this is a camp for all of kids with colitis and Crohn's, and kind of come together and share stories and share experiences. And at this time in my life, I wasn't exactly the most confident guy in who I was. And I think this camp really was a turning point for me. And seeing other kids out there that were like me and had shared experiences, and it helped me just feel more confident in who I was. Thankfully, the first 6 years of my battle, I was diagnosed at 12. The first 6 years were pretty smooth sailing. I had some consistent meds that I was taking, they were working, and I was in remission for the first 6 years. Unfortunately, come high school, come senior year, things began to take a turn. And I got really, really sick towards the end of senior year. It was March of 2014. And I was a dual sport athlete in high school, as you can see. I was a basketball player and I am a baseball player. So I got really, really sick during a playoff run in basketball. We were just starting, and I went to go watch a baseball game. I wasn't yet on the field for baseball, I was still in basketball. So I went to go watch some of my friends play. They were on the team. And I'm sure many of you, those of you especially with colitis in here, know what I'm about to say is very, very bad. Me and my friends split a bag of sunflower seeds. Safe to say that didn't go the best for me, it was fine for him. So we leave the baseball game that we're at, and naturally, I'm still in basketball. We have basketball practice. So I go to practice, and I don't even make it through like the first half of practice, not even half of the first half, before it feels like I have just this golf ball in my intestine that I just can't get rid of. And it's just the seeds have clumped up, and essentially it went downhill from there. I had a game the next day, so I leave practice, come home. Naturally, I'm not going to the doctor because it's game day. There's no way. I'm not missing that. So I go through that, get through basketball season, get into baseball season, which is to this day still my favorite sport. I have a love for the game. It pulls me and drives me. And getting into baseball season, my medicine began to fail me. I was actually taking too much of it, and it began to kind of counteract and give me more problems than it did solutions. So in talking to Dr. Mel and Laura, who I love, they began to recommend different options. My medicine wasn't working. What can we do? Where can we go? And one of the last steps that we took was Remicade. For those of you who don't know what Remicade is, it's an infusion medicine. And what that means is instead of taking pills in the morning, at night, you have to actually go into the hospital. They infuse you. It's a 2-hour process or so. And that was very different for me. Going in high school, especially senior year, it was very difficult for me to come back onto campus after those things and deal with the kind of questions and uncertainty and kind of the weird looks like, hey, where have you been? Like, what happened? I didn't see you. And I felt like, it almost took me back to when I was 12 and the initial diagnosis where just that feeling of uncomfortability and nothing really you can do to escape it, So that was very interesting. And after 2 Remicade infusions, we went twice, it became clear that, this option just wasn't going to work for me. We had done 2 tries. I wasn't seeing any difference, and by Dr. Mel and staff, I should have been seeing some difference. And it became clear to me that a full colectomy was going to be needed, in order to make me feel better. And I think back on that decision to get my surgery, and it was a 2-step surgery. I did it in 2 parts, and I remember the decision to get it. And I think back, how big of a decision that was, and I really feel that I handled it very calmly. And I think that is a huge, huge credit to Dr. Mel and his staff. I was so confident that if there was any other option, we had exhausted everything else. There was nothing left. It was this or continue to feel bad. And my trust in Dr. Mel and his staff, ultimately led me to say, I'm going to be okay. This surgery, we're going to be fine. I believe in Dr. Mel. I believe in his staff. I believe in my care. And that's ultimately why I'm still here today. As we go on, after graduation. So it was after graduation, which I had my first of 2 surgeries. I had to gain some weight back, so I got on, for those of you who know what TPN is, it's something to help you gain weight when you can't eat. So I had some TPN going through me twice a day to help me gain weight back before surgery because they couldn't operate on me because I'm currently 6'4". I was about 6'3", 150 pounds before my surgery. I'm currently 6'4", about 195, so it's been a better road, but at the time it was some stressful things. I had my first colon removal, step 1, on June 23rd, 2014. And, that's when I had something that Allison mentioned, the ostomy bags and things of that nature. I had to learn to deal with that, which is essentially what the 2-step surgery is. The first step, you get everything taken out, you get an ostomy bag, and then after about 2 months or so is the minimum time, you can, get everything reattached. You gotta leave your body some time to heal on the inside. So I had my first surgery, June 23rd, like I said. And I can remember these days, these were, I would say, probably some of the dark days with the bag. It was never really something that I came around to. I couldn't find the right thing to stick on me. I liked the bag I had, but I couldn't get the material right. Nothing seemed to stick and nothing really seemed to work. And it was definitely one of the darker and more stressful times of my battle. I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. And I felt just awkward, just out of place everywhere I went. One of the things that did help me finally get used to that bag was this thing called the Stealth Belt. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it, but it's a little belt that wraps on your stomach right here so that you can cover your bag in public and take your shirt off and go swimming and do things along those lines, which was something that mentally I needed to be able to do, feel comfortable taking your shirt off and things like that. So after graduation, my college experience started, shout out to my brother, started by me planning to attend University of Arizona. I went out there and I really felt like, after dealing with the bag, I still had the bag when I went out there, but I really felt like this was going to be, this was it. This is where things were going to turn and things were going to get better. These were going to be a great 4 years. I was going to meet new people, leave with a degree. I was really, really excited about the whole process. But my love for baseball made me input a baseball quote here, so just bear with me. In life, when you're, I'm so sorry, hold on. When you're ready for a fastball, life throws you a curveball, and that's exactly what I got. I woke up on the first day of class, really, really nauseous, and I couldn't figure out why. I wasn't sure if it was something I had eaten or what the deal was. So I ended up throwing up in my dorm room at Arizona. First day of class, first semester, first day. Ready, loving life, not so much anymore. So I call my mom. I'm like, hey, this happened. What's the deal? What do I do here? I'm not sure. Lay back down, throw up some more, end up having to go down to campus health because clearly something's not right. And I remember this very, very vividly that I was in the room, the doctor was taking notes, and as soon as I had said the word colectomy, she just stopped. She put the notepad down, she put the pen away. And at that point, I knew something was seriously wrong. So what ended up happening is I ended up getting a blockage in my fake J-pouch colon that was just created less than 2 months ago. And I caught a blockage out there, and it landed me in the U of A hospital for about a week. My mom, thankfully, during that time, flew out to come see me the day of. As soon as I told her I was going to the hospital, she booked a flight and came that afternoon. While I was in the hospital for about a week, about 6 days, the only goal was for me really to be able to get strong enough to fly home and get back to Dr. Mel. That was the only goal, get strong enough and fly, get home. My mom thankfully cleared out my dorm room during that time, just on the move, always, there for me, always, doing everything that a mom is essentially supposed to do. So this is one of the pictures I took that I thought really kind of resembles who I was at that time. And there are definitely some dark days with disease, which I'm sure Allison and her family are learning, and it's a learning process. And there's I felt like there's nothing really as a 12-year-old kid diagnosed to prepare you for something like this, or to prepare you even to make a decision like that. There's nothing I feel like in the world that can really do that. And so, thankfully to my family and my care, I was able to make some good decisions and the benefit of my health. So 2 months after the surgery, 2 months, bare minimum time, I come home from Arizona and I have step 2. I have the takedown. Everything goes well. I'm in the recovery for about 4 days, and I go home. Everything's good. Everything's totally fine. I'm recovering normal. They clear me to go home. So I go to bed that night, and I've been asleep for probably 10 minutes, and I get up to go to the bathroom, and I get up, and immediately I sit up out of bed, and I'm, whoa, something's not right there. That doesn't feel right. I try and stand up to go talk to my parents, immediately fall back down on the bed. Well, that's not right. I call my mom from her room, she runs in. We call the doctors, we end up calling the doctors, and I'm in probably the most pain I've ever felt with this disease. I've never felt anything like that, still to this day with this disease. They take me to the ER. I can remember that I was in so much pain I couldn't really sit still. I was just screaming, and like I said, you can't sit still, it just hurts. My joints hurt, my stomach hurt, everything hurt. And so we go to the ER, and they take me in. I can't even sit still because it's hurting so much for them to take vitals. They're not even able to give vitals. They stick me in a room, and 13 milliliters of pain medicine later, I end up passing out in my mom's arms in the ER. And that was just a scary time altogether. So they fit me in for 6:45 a.m. emergency surgery. My intestines, in my sleep, when I sat up, had become wrapped around each other and closed down on one side. So they become pinched inside of me, unknowing to me, obviously. So 6:45 a.m. emergency surgery, they fit me in. I spent the next 2 days in intensive care, which was just a world of time on pain medicine, to be honest with you. I was thought people were coming to see me. It was just a very extremely weird experience. After that, they moved me to a regular room. I'm out of ICU, and I spend the next month in the UCSF hospital due to symptoms of my disease as well as a nasty ear infection. So all of September 2014 was spent in that hospital. And I remember this was probably the times when things got the testiest. It was just some really dark days. Sitting in that hospital and waking up there every single morning for 30 days straight, the same view, the same people, everything. It's just really, really trying. You don't even want to get up out of bed. You just want to go home. You just want to rip the stuff out and just go home. You're just so sick of it. So after all that, I end up coming home. I recover. Everything's going well. I still feel like that Arizona is the place for me. That's going to be my spot. Things are going to turn. If I can just get there and stay healthy, things are going to turn. So I go back, and within a week, I had caught an infection in my fake colon that had just got pregnant. This is when things really got, trying. I felt like I was constantly fighting an uphill battle. There was nothing I could do to get ahead. It was just I would get even, and something would push me back further. I would get even, and something would push me back. And it was a real mental test for me more than anything. Mentally, I trusted Dr. Mel, and I trusted his care. But mentally, it was how tough can I be to keep pushing myself, to keep being okay. Be a rock for my family who's coming to visit me and stuff like that. I don't want them to feel like I'm worried or anything like that. I need to be firm and be solid in who I am. So I go back to U of A, catch the infection, and at that point, I'm just over Arizona as a whole. I'm done with this whole state. So I come home and I tell my mom that I'm just, I don't want to go back. I'm done, And at that point, it became a question of sort of what's next. Where do I go? I had all these plans at Arizona. I was going to be this wonderful guy and do these wonderful things. And, where do I go next? So for me, it became the junior college route. And I began to pick up sports again, and that was something I felt like I needed to do. Going to Arizona, leaving high school sports behind, it felt like, everything that was going on with my disease made me so unique. I just wanted to go live a regular college experience. I wanted to go away for 4 years and just be regular. I didn't want to be an athlete. I didn't want to be anything. I just wanted to be me. But I felt like, a piece of me got lost during that, and I think that's ultimately why, I'll say God, for those of you who are religious, God wanted me to come back. Arizona was not the place for me. And I felt like looking back, it was a sign that I need to re-pick up sports and retry again in my athletic career. Maybe I'm not done here. This lovely picture of Dr. Mel resembles where I went to junior college. I attended De Anza College here in San Jose, Cupertino area. And the relationship I built with that coach was something really, really special. When I took my visit, he opened up to me saying that he was battling some depression and some back issues that he didn't really like to talk about with anybody else. So immediately, this is the first visit I've ever taken to his campus, and we just built a connection. And the 2 years at De Anza, I would say, really, really, really changed my life. I met some great people. I played baseball, which I loved, and I just had probably the best 2 years that you could in terms of recovery. It was close to home. It was somewhere far enough, but still felt like home. It wasn't weird. So after my De Anza years, this is a more modern picture. This is current day. I currently attend California State University Stanislaus, and I'm a member of the baseball team on baseball scholarship. We call it Stan State over at Stanislaus. It's a little easier than Stanislaus, which is kind of mouthful. But so I play baseball there. Met my current girlfriend who's here tonight, who's just been a rock for me there. And overall, it feels like home. It feels like I wanted Arizona to feel like. It feels like I'm finally in the right place and I'm doing the right things, and things have finally come around for me in my disease. I'm in remission. I feel a sense of confidence in who I am. I'm confident enough to talk about what happened to me and how I came through it and how I pushed through it. And I think personally, this is a summer ball picture. Excuse me. This is a summer ball picture. And this summer, I had the unbelievable opportunity to go play baseball in Michigan. I heard we had some Michigan people in the house tonight, so shout out to you. And so I went and I played in Michigan for the whole summer. I played 72 games in 76 days. It was one of the craziest experiences I've ever had in my life. Bus rides for 8 hours, the whole shebang. Everything you think about minor league baseball and how terrible it is, that's basically what we did. So, this was really a really, really important experience for me. I felt like after leaving Arizona, it was important for me to be able to get out of California, to get out and go somewhere else and have success, not be worried about what's going to happen to me. Am I going to get sick leaving the state? Do I need to stay local for so long? So I felt like this summer was a big mental barrier for me to get through, and one of the last steps in I feel like coming to terms with who I am in my disease process. So one of the people who she's already been mentioned tonight, but excuse me if I get a little emotional about this. I'm going to talk about my mom just for 1 second. She's stuck on my side. She was a whole thing. She never left my house. And I can talk about myself and these experiences, but I get so choked up over this. The stuff and the care she's given me is just so unreal. I can't put it into words. The feelings I have for her. And for her to risk so much just to come take care of me is just the biggest deal ever. So I just wanted to say that little part. Sorry, I know it's kind of Kevin Durant-esque, that felt weird, so I didn't go with it. So in conclusion, my battle with UC has been somewhat of a difficult one, you might think, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I first faced this disease as a 12-year-old boy who was scared and lost. He didn't know what was going on, what was going to happen. And I now look back 10 years later as a proud man. I'm 22 today. I feel like I can call myself a man, and I conquered my disease. I beat it, and I feel confident in saying that, and I'm just proud to say that I did that. And one of the hardest parts about this disease, which you guys touched on a little bit, is it's just unfair. You can do everything right, take your meds, do everything you're asked to do by the doctors, and still get sick. You can still have symptoms. And you know, in those dark times, you know, it's just, you just feel like there's nothing you can do. You know, you've done everything and you're still not having success. And it's just so tough. But this disease and baseball have both taught me that, you know, I'm a fighter and I'm tough. And my life course has made me that. And I'm extremely grateful. It was tough, but I'm here today before you. I made it. And I'm just extremely grateful to be able to stand here and tell my story. And if it helps somebody, then, you know, it was all worth it. So. One more thing I just like to say, it's a quote about baseball and Titus that I feel like really well, and it fits into my picture, which on the back says "Believe." That was taken from this summer. It's from Babe Ruth, and it goes like this: "It's hard to beat a person who never gives up, so just never give up."